spoke with the president of Yale and some other people representing Yale, and we spoke about the investigation, the private investigation that's going to happen. We're going to have transparency, community involvement. We also agreed on sitting down and coming together as a community with Yale and community leaders to develop a consensus for policy and procedure and how we're going to go along from here to get change for New Haven that we have been asking for and rather demanding. Anything else?
We also agreed upon that the Yale police officers will go through urban trauma training, that they will go through the implicit bias training, and that they will go through de-escalation training. Now, let me say that we are continuing to move for these two officers to be terminated. We did not agree today in reference to that, but that does not mean that the individual will not be terminated. We will continue to push for that. Are there any questions?
What form are the community involvement and transparency take?
Say it again, I'm sorry?
What form will the community involvement and transparency take?
Yale has agreed to make sure that we are at the table from inception to make sure that we are effective in picking and choosing who trains these officers. And we're also going to make sure that we have a part in this training to make sure that is valid and for New Haven and the community members of New Haven.
And let me say that Yale is one of the departments that has been recognized in reference to their training and how they police. But at this present time, they will come, and this community will be a part of what they are doing and how they are doing it. And so we made some movement there. We will have another meeting very soon to talk about the relationship between New Hallville and Dixwell and how we bridge this gap and how Yale helps us to bridge this gap.
Do you feel like you've made any progress whatsoever pushing for the immediate termination of both of these officers, or are they adamantly opposed to that?
Well, Yale was not adamantly opposed to that. They are looking at their own procedure and policies, but this is what our community is asking for. And we're speaking on behalf of some of our community. This is what we're asking for. But at the same time, Yale heard us today and what we put forward and how we're going to move forward in working on the pieces that was put on the table today.
Ma'am, did you say that Yale agreed to be transparent in its investigation of the officers' actions?
Yes.
What would that look like to you? What would be satisfactory?
Well, ultimately, the firing of these police officers and the way the policing of Yale is done within our city. And we made ground, and we have come to an understanding that there will be change and that the community will be leading that change with Yale. It will be a coalition and not just Yale making the decisions. The community will have a say in this. And Yale agrees that that is what needs to happen.
Do you have any specific issues currently with the way that Yale conducts their officer hiring?
Well, we have not gotten into that aspect, but we do know that Yale officers go through New Haven Board of Commission in order to be hired here at Yale, and they have agreed that they will look at that piece of it by what they've agreed with us today in reference to how we move forward.
Yes.
Give
during the course of this week, we've seen New Haven officials, Camden, and we haven't really seen anybody from Yale out front talking about this. Did you guys address that? Did they explain why they haven't been?
Well,
Guys speaking on this?
well, that didn't come up on why they have not been forward and coming out to the public. This is our first meeting, and I'm sure that in the very, very near future, Yale will stand with us in reference to what we have agreed upon.
The search warrant for the car came out today. What the police put forward to get the search warrant. And he provides a first-hand account from Paul Witherspoon, who did nothing but try to show his compliance. He was trying to show his empty hands to the officers when they fired upon him. You probably haven't got a chance to read it, but if you do, you will see that the police themselves are putting forward Paul Witherspoon's account in order to have gotten permission from the judge to search the car more comprehensively. So far we haven't seen anything that suggests that Witherspoon was doing anything but trying to be compliant.
I think that what we have seen on the video, on 3 different videos, it shows that Mr. Witherspoon was acting in accord with what the police officer asked him to do. And I think that we have to, since they are putting this information out rather quickly, that we're hoping that it will not take as long to come to a decision in reference to what is going on.
And also, let me add to that, because of this case with Stephanie and Paul is clear as day. So we have the opportunity for Yale to see something different and change the way that they police. This was a culmination of how Yale policing has happened in the history of New Haven. And so thankfully that no one had to die for us to get to the point of us changing policy and adding the community into a city or organization that feeds off of our city. So we're actually developing today was the starting point of Yale signing on to hold themselves accountable and allowing the community to come in and hold them accountable. And they're very perceptive to the change that needs to be made. It is going to be a longer battle, but they are open and flexible to doing that. And so that's why we're here, and we're going to continue to be here.
Now that's a different story with Hampden. Yeah. And we're on our way within the next several days to meet with the mayor of Hampden and whoever else. And there are major problems in Hampden, and Hampden feels as though they don't have to meet with us. They don't have to talk with us. This racism of the police department in Hampden has gone on for many, many years. And that we will be asking to look at some of their records of individuals, officers who have gotten into trouble, and how many stops that they've made on Dixwell Avenue and within the black community. That's a bigger fish to fry, but the fish got to be fried.
Dr. Kimber, can you talk about, yesterday you called for the arrest of the store clerk. Have
yes.
you guys made any headway in terms of any action against that store yet, any protests?
We haven't had any. We haven't had anything yet. We got to embrace our new partners. Black Lives Matter of New Haven.
People Against Police Brutality.
And we've got to, we will be meeting in reference to the store. And you will hear from us from Hampden. You will hear us from the store. And we're not above having a major rally in Hampden at the mayor's office, nor a sit-in to get it right. Hampden got to change, and they got to change the face. It's been the Good Old Boy Network. They have promoted In 233 years, Hamden has never had a black chief or deputy black chief or any blacks in their leadership. But when they come to our city, it seems as though they are searching and trying to find black and brown young men who they feel has violated the standards of driving. Thank y'all very much. We appreciate you, and thank the clergy for coming and sharing with us. We feel today that we made some progress. Thank you very much. All right.